So this is what we call the content engagement loop. All right, so you've got your content creation methods, things where you've got, automated discovery and synchronization, stuff that's been created, where you've got manual bulk imports, internal, external sources where you're bringing things in. Obviously, you want to do that wherever you've got that content and it's easy to do. And then over here, you've got people who are searching this material, finding things and answering questions, or referencing, which means like linking from other content in here or pulling that stuff in. But then when they don't find what they're looking for, then they want to request it. And that creates this path where maybe you've got requested sort of a general inventory or bulk assignments or backlog, like, hey, we're working through a list of stuff, we want you to do that, and that gets routed to the stewards to do that work. Or it's an as-needed request. It's someone, I'm searching for something right now to answer a question, and I don't find what I'm looking for, I'm going to make that request. That can also get routed to the steward. These things should take the highest priority. And then there's this other thing that we call emergent content, which is an important topic. It's not critical that we go into great detail on this, but that's basically saying, like, if I'm defining a report or curating a report, I've got a sales listing that has information about, total annual spend by this customer, current customer status, sales rep area, and all that kind of information. Maybe each one of those things, if I'm looking at this report, I would say, do I have a glossary definition for these things? And if I don't, I may want to go add that. So the emergent content is in documenting a report and understanding why does this report exist. Is this a good report? Is it a bad report? Is it a certified report? How do you get access to it? All those kinds of things is one part, but then adding in, connecting it to glossary definitions and then creating those glossary definitions. That's what becomes this emergent content. So you can get a loop there. As you start documenting something or curating something, you might create new additional content out of that. Or even in writing one glossary definition, you might end up adding 3 or 4 glossary definitions to expand on that. So that's this emergent content. But anyway, these are the main points where you're going to get this steward creation. So when we talk to a lot of our customers or people who say, hey, we can't get people to use the tool or use the knowledge base or build our glossary or whatever, oftentimes what they're talking about is just they've got some sort of general inventory or bulk assignments or backlog effort, right? And they can't get people to do that work. Then they'll get their stewards out and they'll say, they'll define all these data stewards and they'll say, hey, you're the data steward over sales, you're the data steward over finance, you're the data steward over human resources, you're the data steward over facilities or whatever. And then they'll say, I need you to quote unquote, document all of your data definitions, please, thank you. And then they're surprised when that doesn't happen, right? So you need a really better approaches for engaging in that. So one is saying, hey, let's document some reports, and that'll build data definitions. That's like emergent content type of process. But more importantly is to say, let that real demand come from this as needed request. So this is the point of the loop. Like, you need to have a certain amount of content for people who come in and search that they have a good chance of finding something. But if not, then there needs to be a sense of, I can request something, and that request there's a known process or good level of support that request will get to an expert and generate content, and update the cookbook in this case and get back to me. Maybe that's going to go to review by a bunch of people, but then I'll find out, oh, that question was answered, and that question was answered in a timely fashion, and then the next time someone's coming in, that's there. So this is the help desk approach, the just-in-time data governance approach, but it is this content engagement loop is super important. So if you're focused solely on like documentation and content creation, you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to have enough information to guarantee that that everybody who's searching and discovering and referencing will find what they need to. So you have to have this process. And once you have a process that works well for this requesting content creation loop, then you can actually kind of reduce the amount of pressure you have to do this looking back and documenting old things, right? So you want to think about building it.